Yo, what's good everyone? This is AEO Boxing with Madiba, and we're here to talk about Errol Spence fighting Sebastian Fundora. So news broke earlier this week that Errol Spence is in talks to fight the unified 154 WBO WBC champion Sebastian Fundora this fall. October is the target date, and it will most likely happen at the AT&T Stadium. And to be honest, this isn't surprising. We knew this fight would be next once Spence entered the ring after Fundora beat Zoowe. However, there's mixed emotions and opinions about this report. Some fans are happy to see Spence return to the ring and fight for a title at a new weight class, while other fans don't think Spence deserves to get a Fundora fight after the beating he took last year. They see it as Spence jumping the line in front of more deserving contenders. I see both sides of this argument. The question is, does Spence deserve this fight? And in my opinion, yes, he does deserve this fight. Despite what some fans believe, Errol Spence has always fought the best throughout his career. He became a 3-belt unified champion at welterweight, basically clearing out the entire PBC roster at welterweight, and even Keith Thurman was hesitant to fight Spence. And what makes this special is all the mishaps and accidents that he suffered throughout his career. Rather than taking a tune-up fight after that horrendous car accident, he chose to fight Danny Garcia. And after his eye injury before the Manny Pacquiao fight, he went straight into a unification fight with Yordenis Ugas. And despite the he said, she said talks regarding the Crawford fight, Spence was one of the main reasons that undisputed fight even happened. He negotiated directly with Crawford and conceded a lot of things to get that fight made, even though the PBC seemed reluctant to do so. So Spence wanting to fight Fundora is part of his character as a fighter. I have a lot of respect for Spence fighting Fundora as his first fight at 154 rather than taking a tune-up. Things like this is why I'll never question or downplay Spence's legacy. Make no mistake, Fundora is not an easy fight for anyone, especially coming off a crushing defeat and being out of the ring for more than a year. However, I will say that this fight is a PBC political move. Both fighters are affiliated with the PBC, so regardless of whoever wins, the PBC will keep the belt. To me, it seems like this move was a favor for Spence. Spence has been one of the premier names fighting under the PBC banner. He's been with the promotion since its inception basically, became a unified champion, had multiple pay-per-views, sold a lot of tickets, and has pushed the PBC brand in boxing. So it makes sense why they made this fight for him. It's no different than your boss giving you a bonus or extra PTO because you've been a good employee. Regardless of what you think, it's still an interesting fight that would draw attention from the fans, hardcore and casuals, and it will sell. However, Spence did leapfrog a lot of people at 154 that deserved to fight with Fundora first, Terence Crawford being the main person. Crawford destroyed Spence last year. If anyone deserved to challenge for a title at 154, especially the WBO title, then it's Crawford. Crawford was the first to express interest in the winner of Zoowe versus Fundora, and it was reported that Crawford was in negotiations with the WBO and Fundora to make that fight. However, it didn't happen, most likely due to the PBC's interference. Crawford had to pivot and fight Madrimov instead, which is still a good fight, but not as big as the Fundora fight. The WBO will apparently strip the title if Fundora goes ahead and fights Spence, as that move violates their mandatory rules. So I understand why some fans may not like Spence getting this opportunity, but the biggest issue for me are the other contenders at 154. Guys like Erickson Lubin who deserve an opportunity to fight for a title. And Zoowe definitely deserves a rematch. Not fair for those guys who have been in the weight class campaigning for years to be overlooked. But the next question is, can Spence beat Fundora? My biggest concern is Spence's durability and if his body can still hold up. Spence received a lot of damage in that Crawford fight, and along with the accidents and injuries, I'm not sure if he'll ever be the same. Fundora is not the same caliber of fighter as Crawford, but he has power and is a southpaw that is 6'6", and he has a long ass arm reach. Lubin was the last southpaw that Fundora fought, and he gave Lubin a brutal beatdown. I can see the same thing happening if Spence isn't able to withstand the power and volume of Fundora. But Spence has a style to beat Fundora. As seen in the Zoowe fight, if you can close the distance, apply intelligent pressure, and get to the inside, you can beat Fundora. Zoowe was doing that before the cut hindered him, and even with the blood in his eyes, he was still effective, closing the distance and getting to the inside. And even in the Lubin fight, Lubin had success and was able to hurt Fundora and dropped him. And ever since getting KO'd by Mendoza, Fundora seems to be more apprehensive when fighting guys on the inside. If Spence can cut the distance while taking minimal damage doing so, he can outwork and beat Fundora. The body will present a large target, and that's where Spence excels at. I'm not sure if Fundora has the ability to exploit Spence's tendencies like falling in or have the IQ to take away Spence's jab. We'll just have to wait and see. If Spence does win, then this could set up another undisputed run at 154. The division is wide open with a deep pool of talent. A potential Ryan Garcia fight can happen, but with the PD scandals going on, I'm not sure if that even happens in the first place. And maybe he can get a Crawford rematch at 154. However, Spence has hinted at retiring if he does beat Fundora. I wouldn't be too shocked because Spence has done a lot in his career. Better to retire on top, at your own accord, rather than taking damage and the sport forcing you to retire. But who knows, this is boxing, anything can happen. But thank you for tuning in with AEO Boxing with Madiba. Like, subscribe, and more contents coming your way.